I mean, she got thrown into the river, and while the fall might have killed her, I mean, there's always a chance that she might have survived.
Well, and if you go back to earlier in season 1 where the Penguin was thrown into the river as well, and he ended up coming back, I believe, the very next episode. So, it isn't entirely guaranteed that Jada Pinkett Smith is done with Gotham. She's just done with Gotham right now. She had a 1-year contract. That contract is now done. She chose to not renew it, which is why they ended up killing her off. She has... I can't remember exactly what she's appearing in over the next little while, but she does have a very full schedule. So Gotham will be the first one showing up, which is good because get the best out of the way, and maybe people will focus more on the other ones. So, and I believe Supergirl is going on at the same time because they're going to be back and forth.
Yeah, it's going to be really interesting. I don't remember all of the characters that are going to be in there, but they're talking about Lois Lane's sister, who I can't remember what their name is, but she in the comics she is Superwoman. They also, her General Lane will also be featured in this show as well. They're also talking about the Red Tornado, I believe his name is, and he's kind of like DC's version of the Vision. He's actually a living machine. Who, to me, for whatever reason, he looks like a red version of Martian Manhunter. For whatever reason. I know.
Yeah, I actually can't agree nor disagree with you on that one. That is right over the top of my head.
Yeah, I'm... When it comes to DC, I tend to know slightly more than you do. So.
Yes, except for Harley Quinn.
Yes, obviously, no.
Yeah, you can't know more about Harley Quinn than me. Which...
And, but going back to Gotham, I'm slightly distracted because, we don't always, stay on topic. Well, obviously, if you know our show, you know that we don't stay on topic very well.
No.
But I wanted to go...
I don't stay on topic.
Well, and here's the thing. This is kind of like, we refer to this on several occasions as, going down the rabbit hole. And, that's what the show really is. We could literally just change the name of this and just call it The Rabbit Hole. And, that pretty much would be, if you understand, the Alice in Wonderland reference, you understand what we're talking about here.
Yes, I think we've pretty much referenced, down the rabbit hole almost every episode now.
Well,
except for the last one where we had the top 5 episode.
Yeah, I think we'll have to do another one soon.
Yes, I definitely agree.
But anyways, the reason why I'm bringing this up was that there will be a female version of the Batman villain Firefly in this season. I just wanted to go back because my brain was kind of muddled. Well, okay, more muddled than usual. And so I just wanted to go off and make sure that I had the name right on that, because I know that there's a lot of DC fans who probably would lynch me if I got it wrong. And,
yes.
So when you say very female oriented, I completely agree. We're talking Barbara apparently is going to completely embrace this evil side of her. And she's going to become very manipulative. And they're talking about Selena and, Kyle, and how, she is kind of going to come into her own in this season as well.
There is one thing I would like to talk about. And if you've been following the Gotham fan sites, as you will, there's a lot of rumors out there that Barbara is going potentially down the line become Harley Quinn. I want to nip that in the butt now.
I don't see how that possibly could happen, just because Harley was still a pretty young woman at the time that Batman was, kind of at the prime. of his his fighting career. So if anything, she probably would be around the same age as Selena Kyle and Ivy are, if not a little bit younger.
I fully agree. On top of that, though, everyone knows that Barbara does not become Harley Quinn. So,
I'm just kind of curious because in the comics, James Gordon's daughter's name is Barbara.
Yes.
Who becomes Batgirl and later becomes the Oracle after she is crippled by the Joker. And so I know in the Dark Knight trilogy, his wife was named Barbara in those movies. So I was a little confused. That part I don't really know. I don't know if if his daughter Barbara was named after the mother, or if they just decided to go off and to change it from being the daughter to the mother for the movies and for the show.
I think what it is they're trying to give reason of why he picked the name Barbara.
It may be because I'm almost thinking that, there's part of James who still loves Barbara, and even though they may not get back together when he eventually has a daughter, they will, name it Barbara.
Well, I definitely think that the chances of them getting back together after her very explosive breakout this season...
Well, you never know. I mean, somewhere down the line, they may find a way to bring them back together. I mean, just from what I've seen, James isn't exactly going to be squeaky clean in this. He actually, at one point, goes to the Penguin for help, and we know that during the first season that, he kind of, it kind of goes off. He's not exactly practicing what he preaches.
No, but he's not corrupt, and
not as
much as some of the other ones. I would really like to see how they enhance the Riddler. It was
honestly, and I've said this before, he was probably my favorite character from the show.
Yeah,
even more than Penguin.
It was very obvious who the Riddler was right from the beginning. You could clearly see, the resemblance, the whole body language, the body type, how he spoke. It was very clear who the Riddler was. There was no second guessing. There was no questioning it. Same with the Penguin.
Well, it's kind of interesting because we're going back to Ed Nigma, who of course becomes the Riddler, and how we see how he goes from a sort of a creepy individual,
sort of a
creepy individual, and he just it starts making bad choices,
like murdering a cop.
Well, even before that, it's like putting all those body parts in the coroner's locker so that he will be thrown off the force, so Ed can get his job back, and then that sort of begins leading to killing a crooked cop, and then writing a letter, but he can't help himself but to go off and put a riddle in the letter. Yeah. And so I kind of see James is sort of going almost down the similar path where he's made a couple of bad decisions.
Yes.
And wondering, we know that ultimately that he is going to get back in course, and he's going to be probably the only true good cop in Gotham.
Yes, eventually. Yes.
Eventually.
And those who follow Batman, which honestly, who really doesn't?
Well, on this show, maybe. I don't know.
Honestly, Batman's pretty much the one that we all start with, and then we branch outwards.
Well, I mean, Batman's kind of got one of probably the single best rogue gallery for any superhero on either DC or Marvel. It's kind of funny because if the Flash, his villains always, they like in the comics they kind of joke that they know they're going to get caught, and they actually had an episode of one of the Batman cartoons. I can't remember which one it was. Maybe it was The Brave and the Bold, and they actually, when the Flash disappears, they can't get, they are like taking over this town, but their heart really isn't into it because the Flash isn't there to stop them, which is kind of hilarious. But I mean, you look at the Rogue Gallery, Batman, and I mean, oh my God, these are some of the greatest characters ever.
I grew up with Batman. You can't go wrong with Batman. Batman's better than Superman. At least
I can't argue. I mean, I can't really argue. Superman's kind of squeaky clean.
It's not just super, like squeaky clean and all that. I do not like the whole invincible, aspect of any superhero. I'd like to see someone vulnerable, someone more human, which is...
Well, and that's why, heroes like Spider-Man are much more relatable.
Yeah.
I mean, I would say almost put Batman there, but it's really hard to go off and relate with a billionaire who goes off and puts on a suit, drives around in his fancy toys to go off and fight villains.
Yeah, see, I kind of put Batman and Iron Man in the same genre, and mainly for the fact that neither one of them have superpowers. They're both insanely rich.
But if you got to a fight between the two of them, I guarantee you that Batman would win.
Well, yeah, because Batman has equipment that could disable Tony Stark.
Exactly.
And Tony Stark gets too egotistical and gets cocky and crashes into a mountain.
And, if it came down to a fight outside of the armor, Tony Stark wouldn't stand a chance.
Oh, absolutely not. He's a tiny little boy. So, but there is one thing that we've been following, and this is Batman related.
Yeah.
In sorts.
Well, I mean, it goes back to Batman versus Superman that comes out next year. And as longtime viewers of the show will note that when someone on Reddit went off and came up with a theory that the Joker that appears in Suicide Squad might be Jason Todd, and this goes back to a lot of the tattoos on the Joker's body, and there's a tattoo of a Robin on it and everything,
and the J on his cheek. There's also the skull Joker head. But more interesting is
I don't know if it's the same guy or another guy has pointed out that if you watch the trailer for Batman vs. Superman, they show that Robin costume. At least we're assuming it's a Robin costume.
Everybody with the trailers and all that are actually stating it is a Robin statue.
And anyways, there is, if you look at it very closely, and you stop it, take a look at the shoulders on the costume, and there's two holes about where the shoulders are. Now, there is a picture of Jared Leto as the Joker. And if you look at him, he's got scars in almost the exact same places.
And the one thing I noticed, which can either help the theory or blow up the theory, depending on how you want to look at it, but on the Robin suit, there is, there
appears to be another hole.
Yeah, there does appear to be another hole, just under the word joke. But the message sprawled on as ha-ha, joke's on you, Batman. Now, the ha-ha on the Joker outfit, Robin outfit, notice how I did that, is the same writing as the tattoos on Jared Leto's Joker. Now, coincidence, maybe.
I don't know. This has been reported by comicbook.com, and people that follow them on Facebook have just been ripping them apart for going off and even mentioning this. And there's a lot of people who are just very critical of the whole theory. I can understand, as a purist... as a purist, as far as Joker is concerned, I wasn't very thrilled at the idea of having a Joker with tattoos at all. It's not so much that I didn't think the Joker couldn't have had tattoos, because the Joker that I grew up with, that most of us grew up with, had wore a purple suit.
Yes.
With gloves, and so you didn't actually could see what he had on underneath. If he had any tattoos underneath